And we live streams. What's good, you guys? How you guys doing out there? Welcome back to another live stream. What's good, man? Appreciate you guys pulling up, man. We got a crazy breaking news story. I had to talk about this one, man, but I had to get a little incognito because we're talking about them Epstein files today, y'all. And Prince Andrew, man. Prince Andrew just got arrested. Prince Andrew to the royal family, y'all. The royal family, Prince Andrew, second heir to the throne, behind the King of England, arrested in connection with what's going on with the Epstein files, man. This is some insane work. I don't know, what's going on energetically in the world right now, but it's insane to see kind of what we're experiencing right now, where the truth is being revealed. You feel me? The truth is being revealed. So many things are happening right now. Shifts are happening across the world. Okay, there's uprisings happening in Singapore. There's people getting exposed left and right with the Epstein files. Now we have Prince Andrew getting arrested. This is insane work, man. Like there was times where people would talk about us being conspiracy theories and us, coming up with these things. These are lies. You guys are just on the internet. You don't know what you're talking about. And it turns out that it all turns out to be true. All of this is now coming to light. Every single thing that we talked about, everything that we said is now coming to light. All right. We talked about the Prince Andrew scenario already last year right here on this channel. Me and J-Rock talked about this already, but it's important sometimes for us to make sure that we bring the receipts like we always do. But for the forefront of people right now who are surprised about this happening and who think that this is not going to put ripple effects throughout the entire world, you're out of your mind, man. All right. This is going to change a lot of the energy around the Epstein files, because whether or not, obviously we don't know what's going to happen after due process. He could totally get off. More than likely, history tells us that he will be able to get off. But this is something that, has never happened. Like they said, a royal has never been arrested ever. This is in the history of the royal family. This has never happened. This is a first. Okay. So when we talk about this, when we tell you guys, hey, man, look, there's something going on. You feel me? A lot of these people are connected to the Epstein files. A lot of these people are going to get exposed. Y'all thought we was lying. Y'all thought it was a game. Well, I'm going to let them speak for themselves, man. Let's start here. Here we go.
Britain's former Prince Andrew has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Now known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, he was taken into custody in Norfolk just a short while ago. He is accused of allegedly sharing confidential information with the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Mountbatten Windsor has previously denied any wrongdoing over his ties to Epstein. King Charles had stripped his brother of his titles back in October and has since evicted him from Windsor.
Listen, man, this is where we're at right now, okay? This is what's going on. They are trying to cover this up. It's crazy that Trump is doing an address today. The timing couldn't be more crazy, man. Look at this, y'all. Crazy. We're going to bring that back so y'all could hear exactly what she had to say here. This is from CNN, all right? CNN. Breaking news.
Britain's former Prince Andrew has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Now known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, he was taken into custody in Norfolk just a short while ago. He is accused of allegedly sharing confidential information with the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Mountbatten Windsor has previously denied any wrongdoing over his ties to Epstein. King Charles had stripped his brother of his titles back in October and has since evicted him from Windsor. Let's get back down to CNN's Salma Abdulaziz, who joins us live in London. Salma, what's the latest that you're hearing?
Listen, We told you guys what was going on, and a lot of people didn't believe when we were saying that when these Epstein files come out, when they drop, it is going to be a ripple effect throughout the entire industry and the entire existence of what people think when it comes to this power structure that we're all underneath right now. It is going to rock it to its core. All right. And the fact that now this is happening, obviously, he's part of the royal family. So we really can't expect much to come of this outside of the due process that is due to him. But we know now, right, that this must be addressed because they are now starting to prosecute and arrest people who are associated with this. Okay. So that's why it's like, it's crazy to see this happening, man, because what what? Prince Andrew gets arrested? Insane, man.
I want to start by asking maybe questions of what we don't know and what we do know so far. So we do know that he's been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office, but there's a lot of details that are still missing here, of course, Rahel. We don't know the specifics of the allegations of this investigation by the police. We're talking about a period of time between 2001 to 2011 when he was representing the UK as a trade envoy. But what are the specific allegations, the specific accusations of misconduct? We don't yet know that. What information actually prompted Thames Valley Police to make this arrest? That's the key question here, because we understand that they have been assessing this claim for some time now. I would say a period of days. That latest trove of
It's not days, all right? These Epstein files have been out for a while now. We already talked about previously in October of 2025, all right? In October 2025, I have videos talking about Prince Andrew's affiliation with Jeffrey Epstein, all right? This has been going on for a while now. But, you know, justifiably so, the media manipulation is to still leave him enough rope so that they don't have to completely say that he was a part of it, which we all know that he is, all right? The Epstein Island and the entire band of brothers, okay, have a direct connection to the royal family. This is facts. These are in the files. All right. So naturally, when you have them coming after him now, he's getting arrested. What do you think this means? You think they just did this in a couple of days? They just wanted to go and arrest him? The royal prince, all right, second heir to the throne. He's next. If the king died right now, he would be the king of England. That's how close this is, okay? This is major. And it's wild because, like I said, they still try to cover for these PDF files.
Emails where we
know what's going on.
Allegations come to light has been out for a few weeks now. So what was the trigger? What was the switch? What was it that the police held on to that said, okay, now is the time when we need to take this very extraordinary action, of course, in this country? We also don't know where Andrew Mountbatten Windsor is currently being held. We don't know where he is being held. We simply know that he's been arrested, but we don't know any details beyond that or what the status of that is.
Obviously, they're going to hide his identity. They're going to put him somewhere where he cannot be found, obviously, right? For national security purposes. This is a royal prince, all right? They cannot put out his location. They already saw what happened to Epstein, right? When he got arrested and was in the custody of them people, supposedly, right? So naturally, yeah, they cannot disclose his location. But let's be clear here that this is 100% a step that is necessary in order to hold these people accountable for what has been happening for a very long time and for things that people have been talking about right here on YouTube for years, okay? And the fact that so many people went out of their way to discredit people who were in ciphers, who had information, all right, who was putting it out here, us giving it, reading it, doing the research, and then coming to our own conclusions and saying, yo, man, there's a conspiracy going on here. A lot of these people are working together. How do all these companies owned by the same families? How is all the wealth generated through these certain channels? And how is this political person part of this family? And all this is starting to make sense. And then you now have the connections where, of course, there's an island where underage people are being used and abused. Okay. And so now all this coming and bubbling up to the top. Now Prince Andrew gets arrested. And please believe that this is just the beginning. All right. Whether it be some small, Fortune 200 president, I don't care. Get all of them. All right. Start there. If it got to be the prince to make an example, the royal family already made him, distance himself from the royal family. So he's not considered a prince anymore. But we all know the lineage. You don't have to lie. We're not going to play these games. All right. So naturally, they distance themselves because they knew that this was coming. All right. All this is not it's all by design. They know what's going on. They're not stupid. Okay. They know that, hey, man, eventually he's going to have to go down for this. So we're going to have to distance ourselves as a royal family because we don't want anything to do with what happened, because we know what happened on Epstein Island, because we are a part of it.
In terms of his arrest. And we still don't know if he's been interviewed under caution. That's what it's described as in this country. So essentially, has he been asked questions? Has he sat down with a police officer and been asked questions as of yet? And where has he been asked these questions? What location has he been taken to? What do we actually know right now? Well, what we do know is Mr. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, former Prince Andrew, who only earlier this month was forced out of the royal residence, pushed into his brother's residence, the Sandringham estate, which is currently being searched by police, has now faced a watershed moment, really, not just for himself, but for the royal family and really for this country at large, being arrested. Now, again, being arrested does not mean being guilty. We do not know the specifics here of why the police have taken this extraordinary action of arrest. That is the detail we need.
Now, listen. I want you guys to look particularly at the title of what they put. Look how they don't even mention, right, the fact that Jeffrey Epstein is a big part of this yet. We're already almost a quarter way through the video, and they haven't even mentioned Jeffrey Epstein. And that's specifically a part of why they are indicting him and why he got arrested, right? Because his dealings with him and land helping him get in these type of circles to use his political influence, and then what funnel that through a pipeline of what? Sex trafficking and little people. Okay, this is all a part of the pipeline, and he's a part of that, but they fail to mention it. Okay, they fail to mention these parts. So you got to pay attention to that.
The royal family is reeling. King Charles has been trying to get ahead of this time and time again. Last year, he stripped his brother of all his royal titles. I said he's pushed him out of the royal residence. He even took this really extraordinary step of preempting the possibility of this happening right now by saying he was willing to support the police in any inquiry that they had. So there's going to be a sense in this country, first of all, that this has caught up with Prince Andrew. He has been long under question, long under suspicion for his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, a relationship that he appears to have lied about in the past, saying that he ended his relationship with Mr. Epstein.
This is all the play that they all did, okay? Once the ish started hitting the fan, they all distanced themselves from Jeffrey. Even our president, he did the same thing. All right, they're all part of it. But the understanding is now that people are starting to actually put some pressure on these people, right? They cannot run away from this, all right? As much as they are trying to distance themselves away from what is going on, they are trying their best, but they cannot run away from this, all right? This is happening right now in our community, everywhere around, okay? And it's been happening for a very long time. And so naturally, when you have people who are now starting to break down the pyramid, the cards, right? The house of cards is starting to fall apart. And so now everybody has to run and scatter. But naturally, somebody got to be held accountable. And it's going to start, unfortunately, with Prince Andrew, right? Whatever he's up to, whatever he got going on, it's a wrap for him. You know what I'm saying? At least for his reputation, right? Because this is also a part of the public opinion and swaying the public opinion, whether he was a part of it or not. Him being arrested is symbolic for, hey, man, we are now going to associate you and your character to the Jeffrey Epstein Island. Okay, you are a part of that community now.
When he was a
Forevermore.
convicted sex offender, so around 2008. Now,
Crazy.
in these latest email troves, that does not appear to be the case, and it is now clear that he did continue that relationship after Epstein was convicted, and it is that information that led King Charles to strip him of his royal titles, to take these extraordinary steps to try to get ahead of what's happening here. But again, it has caught up with them. There is going to be also a bit of empathy, I imagine, in this country for his family, the York family, as they are known here. He has 2 young daughters. They're in their 30s. They have their own families. Their faces have been splashed all over the media.
Listen, man, this is what comes with this. You know what I'm saying? This is what happens now. The spotlight has been heightened, right? And look, they will always look for some level to give them sympathy. But they are not thinking about the victims, countless victims, thousands of victims over hundreds of years who have been put into these type of scenarios with the rich and powerful, okay, who never had a voice, who never made it out. Some of them never made it off the island because we already know what they were talking about in those files when it came to cannibalistic behavior. Okay? Cannibalistic behavior. That's all I will say, all right? Because a lot of that stuff, you can't even say it on YouTube, all right? So naturally, that's what was going on over there, and we already know what's in their DNA, okay? We know this.
The last few days. So many questions here swirling around what is, first of all, a family that represents this country, the monarchy as an institution, and how...
All right, we're going to skip out of her because she glazing. She glazing. You feel me? She glazing too much for me. She glazing, bro. She's still trying to give them some, you know, some semblance of help. And, oh, no, well, this is the royal family. You know, they represent. No, we don't care. All we know is that they are out here doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing. And we called it. All right. So that's what I'm going to bring up. All right. I'm bringing the receipts right now for y'all because that's what we do, man. I ain't got time to be wasting trying to, you know, listen to people who are supposed to be giving us the news and they're not. All right. They're just out here doing whatever they want to do. You feel me? Nobody had time for that, bro. Stop glazing.
It's gonna come out. Right. It's gonna come out. There are people on there that are on the hook, bro, for a lot of wild shit that they done to children. Come on, man. And they don't. In their mind, no, this can't come out. No, they in the back like, fuck, no, this can't come out. But it's like, yeah, we ain't just letting Jeffrey take the fall. Anybody a part of it, it needs to come out. Stop. There are other people, celebrities, some of the people y'all love, we've loved, that are wild. They're evil individuals that.
All right, we called this. We called it. All right, we already talked about this. Like I said, in October 2025, we already talked about this. So naturally, now that we watching this go on, we seeing, okay, cool. Like they're now starting to, you know, make some forward movement, right? They're starting to create an energy where, okay, Prince Andrew now gets arrested. He's now having to be held accountable. But now we got to figure out who's going to be next, man, because it's not just him. It's a lot of them. So we got to get all of them out of here, every single last one of them.
And we have some breaking news, some stunning news out of London. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the former Prince Andrew, has been arrested, presumably in connection with his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to go straight to our foreign correspondent, James Longman.
Hi, George. Yes, extraordinary news out of the UK this morning. The former Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, has this morning been arrested on the Sandringham estate where he was living after having been removed, of course, from the home he was living in Windsor. The Thames Valley Police here in the UK, put out a statement. They haven't named him specifically, but they are saying a man in his 60s has been arrested. As part of the investigation, they say we have today arrested a man in his 60s from Norfolk on suspicion of misconduct in public office and are carrying out searches at addresses in Berkshire and Norfolk. They say the man remains in police custody at this time. They are not, like I say, naming Andrew, but we know that it is him. This pertains to emails, we believe, that were published recently in the most recent Epstein files published by the Department of Justice, which seem to suggest, they allege that Andrew was forwarding emails to Jeffrey Epstein whilst he was trade envoy here in the UK. Now, as a public official, that is misconduct. That is what the police are alleging. That's the charges that they presumably are bringing to him if they do indeed charge him.
All right, so the correspondence that we saw with these guys, you know, between Prince Andrew and as well Jeffrey Epstein, like they said, this is not normal. You guys don't need to be communicating, and especially on a royal type of time. Okay, so he gets caught up behind this, and now he's got to be held accountable for it because there's a paper trail. You feel me? All the way back to the early 2001, like they mentioned. All right, this goes back.
He is under arrest and remains in custody for that. We will wait and see what further details they are yet to give us. But, you know, as trade envoy, he spent more than 10 years traveling around the world on behalf of the British government to kind of foment relationships with other countries to better Britain's kind of economic outlook, if you like. That was seen as a member of the royal family could do this. You know, his status would provide Britain with that kind of heft on the world stage. But the emails from the Department of Justice suggest that when he was in these conversations in places like Singapore, Hong Kong, I've got a list here in front of me, other countries that he went to, he would then have these kind of confidential documents in these emails, and then it looks like he was forwarding them on to Jeffrey Epstein, another one here from Vietnam, another from China. So if you look at the date on some of these emails as well, that is what is interesting. One of them here in front of me from 2010. Of course, that's well after Jeffrey Epstein had already faced charges for soliciting sex from a minor. So that goes to the heart of this entire...
Listen, man, this shit is terrible, man. It's so sick and demented, the stuff that these guys are attached to, okay? Soliciting minors for SA. Whew. Listen, man, these are the types of people, though. These are the types of people that are a part of that club, okay? George Carlin talks about the club. They're a part of that club, all right? They are a part of that club. They're the ones running the world. And as well, a lot of them, more oftentimes than not, are sick individuals. Sick individuals, okay? This is where we at, man. This is where we at. 2026, all things are being exposed. All things are being exposed in 2026.
Issue around Andrew and Epstein.
Same.
The relationship that he had with that convicted sex offender went far beyond the time which he said that he had broken all contact with him. People at home might remember the disastrous interview he gave in 2019 to the BBC, where he said that he had traveled to the United States, to New York, to sever his ties with Jeffrey Epstein, that he was there to basically explain to him that he no longer wanted to be in communication with him. These emails from the Department of Justice suggest that that was not true, that he basically lied about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein in that interview. He has always denied, we should say, any wrongdoing when it comes to the allegations about sex trafficking. Virginia Giuffre, of course, the individual who alleged that she was sex trafficked by Epstein for sex with Andrew, he has denied.
Listen, man, there was an interview about this dude he went on ABC News out there in the UK. All this was happening. And sure enough, it just continues to bubble up because, like I said, they can't escape this anymore. They wanted to press it off. They wanted to change it. They wanted to push it off to the side. But now it continues. You can't do that. You can't run away from the truth. And the truth of the matter is, these guys were a part of a very, very, very dark, and still, this is, let's keep it real. This is still happening, all right? The Epstein Island just switched to another island, all right? It just may not be here no more or wherever it was, of course, but It's somewhere else now. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else took that over. Somebody else is now the new spot. So don't get it twisted to think that, you know, just because they're trying to, you know, do something to Prince Andrew, man, they got a lot of people they got to get, y'all. A lot of people.
That strenuously. We haven't had comment from him or the palace on these latest allegations about emails to Jeffrey Epstein in his position as trade envoy. But one imagines that at some point today, Buckingham Palace will have to release some kind of statement. They are yet to comment. But we are in the extraordinary situation where the brother of the king has been arrested. To my mind, that has never happened in the modern history of the royal family. Certainly, this has shaken this country. It's been a long time coming. I think many people would look at this and say, Andrew should have faced justice a long time ago. Many others will say, well, this is a shock today to find that he's been arrested in this way.
It was shocking to all of us, no question about that, James. Let me bring that to Robert Jobson, our royal contributor. James just said it. To his memory, it's never happened in the modern royal family. Do you have any sense that anything like this has ever happened before?
No, they've just had minor road traffic incidents that Princess Anne was arrested over a dog. No, this is truly historic. This is seismic, George. I mean, this has serious implications.
All right, this is seismic. All right, this has never happened in the history of the royal family. All right, so that's what I mean, like the ultimate shift, like the shift that's happening right now is so spiritual, and it's more than just like what I think a lot of people are trying to equate it to when it just comes to like maybe a financial crisis or, you know, what's going on, you know, within the community. But real talk, man, like it's spiritual. Like a lot of people who did a lot of dark things, a lot of people who were a part of a lot of dark organizations and were doing things that weren't helping us, but were hurting us, are now going to have to be held accountable for all of those atrocities, generations of atrocities that have been committed against many of people, including the indigenous people. All right. So naturally, when you see all that, the divine intervention that comes behind that is the fact that you could just feel the shift in the world right now where the truth, right? The truth is going to be taking a precedent over everything that they've told us, man. All these lies and everything that they've kind of kept up. Like, nah, man, this is not it, y'all. Like, we got to stay focused. We got to stay on our pivot because now the truth is starting to really, really come to a head. And I'm so glad that I was on the right side of history, man. I always knew this type of stuff was going on, you know, but you just don't know for real. And this time, like, yeah, man. And like he said, this ain't gonna be the first, man. This is gonna have crazy ramifications. We'll bring it back so he could tell y'all this is a young bloke from the UK. All right, he's from the UK.
No, they've just had minor road traffic incidents that Princess Anne was arrested over a dog. No, this is truly historic. This is seismic, George. I mean, this has serious implications for the monarchy in this country. The reality is this man still is in line to the succession, but for a moment of quirk of fate, he could have been the man who was the king.
He could have been king. He could have been king, man. This is just crazy.
It's really, shocking beyond belief. The police on royal estates, the fact that on his 66th birthday, no less, he's been arrested. He's now going to have to give evidence, have to give a report be interviewed under caution, so that this is now getting to a very serious stage. This, of course, is nothing to do with the Epstein and the sex trafficking side of things. This is purely to do with the envoy.
Right, and releasing this sensitive, classified information. Forgive me if this is an uninformed question, but could something like this happen without the acquiescence of the Queen?
Well, what we do know is that it was the Queen that pushed for Andrew to be that special advisor. We do know.
Listen, man, there's a lot of corruption that was going on, and naturally, these people have been covering it up, right? And so when they speak on that, it's saying, oh, okay, well, this wasn't really, just about the Epstein files, naturally. But what incited this was the release of those Epstein files and the public pressure that came behind that, man. We cannot skip beyond that. That is a big part of this, whether we want to admit it or not. Okay. His reputation preceded him so much so that now coming back around, it's something that they cannot escape. All right.
Until they fully understand what was involved. I'm sure that the king has got his head in his hands about this at the moment. This really is a seismic moment, I've said, for the monarchy. I do believe, well, nothing like this has ever happened before. And I didn't actually think it would, even with all the pressure, that it would actually reach that stage again. This is going to be a hugely complex case. And of course, you know, he doesn't have immunity. The king can't be tried in his courts in this country. But we have this issue here that if there's evidence that comes out of here that the king knew, and the king would actually have to give evidence in a court of law, that would collapse the case, like it did, if you remember, in 2002 with the Burrell case, when the Queen suddenly remembered she'd had been told things by Burrell that he was keeping Diana's things for safekeeping. Now,
listen, man, this is an insane perspective. You feel me? Where it's like, how do you prosecute the royal monarchy and the family over there, man? Who knows, y'all? I do not know. But I just want to top on here. This is some quick, you know what I'm saying? This is a quick live, you feel me? I just wanted to do this as some breaking news because, like I said, we talked about this in October 2025. So naturally, I'm going to bring this back real quick so that we can add into this the timestamps, you know what I'm saying, to keep this going. So I got to figure out, I want to do like a extendo stream about the Epstein file soon. You know what I mean? At this point, it really don't matter, you know? So I'm going to definitely figure that out so we can do like a deep dive into the Epstein files and read through all the paperwork and really, really get deep into it, y'all. I think I'm thinking about that. So I'll let you guys know about that one. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Continue to help me grow the channel. We on our way to 1,000, man. So make sure you guys stay locked in. Support your boy, man. We're trying to do what we can around here. Independent, of course. You know what I'm saying? But salute to y'all, man. Brandon B, and I'm out. Peace.